Hi guys, Billy back, and this time we're going to be looking at the ZD Toys Iron Man Mark III light up version. Now this figure was a very popular video on my channel, so when I had the chance to pick this up, I figured why not? Let's give it a go. Now this is again the Iron Man Mark III, and I know you're getting a little bit of deja vu right now, but I promise you this is a little different from the first version. ZD Toys have gone back and they've decided that not only can they actually make pretty nice, well painted 1/10 scale Iron Man figures, but they've figured now that maybe they can work some lighting into them. And so this is the light up version, and I think that is what this little banner up the top left hand corner is. It just says light up version or something like that. And again, it looks very similar to the original box. The image of Iron Man isn't lined up as well as I would hope, but he's still got the arc reactor in there, but they've also given it some sort of blue hints to suggest that it does light up now. And on the side again it says Mark III with the same holographic pattern just going through it, and then on the same, it's pretty much the same blurb. I can't read it, but if you can, well done, you've done something with your life. Iron Man on the side there, nothing up the top, nothing at the bottom. So let's pull the seals off of this thing. Oh, it's like a Kit Kat. You can sort of slide your finger down it and go, ugh. Okay, let's just open it up. Normally these little inserts in the side fall out, so I'm trying to hold it together while opening it. Again, it's the same image, but obviously they've added a blue hint to the arc reactor. Then you pull the tab off. We've got the figure underneath. It looks pretty much exactly the same as the original. And then behind it, you've got all the hands, some flame effects, the same stand, but he seems to have two different accessories from the original, which I'm really glad about, because the more stuff you can add to your Iron Man, the better. And just behind it, they also give you a little micro USB lead to charge your figure with, which is really nice. They didn't have to do that, because how many people have about 1 billion of these all tangled up in a box somewhere? But it's always nice to get that, just in case that one person in the world who doesn't have any spare can charge their figure. Okay, and just pulling it out of the box, you can see it looks pretty much like the same figure, doesn't it? Yeah, except for on the back here, there is a little tab here that you can pull off, and underneath there is the charger port, and then underneath the flaps, let's open up your flaps there, sir, thank you very much. There is a tiny little switch button, turn it on and off. Okay, so let's get this bad boy charged up, shall we? So when you plug it in, the mini USB goes into the back there, and just to show that it is working, when you have a look at the arc reactor, it's glowing red, just to show you that it is taking a charge. And I'm not sure if this will change color once it's done, or if it will just turn off, but as you can see, yeah, it's charging. So let's wait a little while and see what it looks like once it's got enough of a charge. Okay, I think he's charged enough now. And this is what he looks like just standing there quite comfortably. Now I've been checking this guy out and comparing him to the original version, which is here. Size wise, it's exactly the same. Paint application is exactly the same. However, there are a couple of differences. Namely, they have swapped this torso piece out and they have swapped the forearms out. And you can tell because these parts here on the original are fixed in place and sculpted, whereas these has some detachable features just here. If we just pop this off, there we go. You can see the forearm is exposed underneath, and there it is there. And then you can add the open forearm with the rockets piece onto the forearm now, which is a really nice addition. And it's the kind of thing that if you are a collector of these and you weren't sure if you were going to get the light up feature just for the light up feature, well, now you have two reasons to get it, simply because you've got those extra forearm pieces and you can have a couple of different posing options more than this guy. The only downside is though that the articulation on the head is a little less than this. If you can see it here, he can look all the way down, but on here that's about as much as he can pose down, and that's because of the LED feature in the helmet. Unfortunately, it had to be sort of like more fixed in place, because when you turn the LED on, if we turn it around and press the LED button on, you can see the light up feature starts to light up the helmet. You can see it lights up the eyes and the chest piece, and that looks awesome, doesn't it? It really does add another layer to the figure that I was not expecting. It looks great. However, it does hinder the articulation of the neck. So that'll be the main sacrifice really, articulation of the neck in order to get the light up feature. It's up to you. Me personally, I'm glad I've got both, because if I want a light up feature for photography, I've got it. If I want a little bit more posability, I've got that too. However, this one has less cons than I thought, because it is literally only a bit of articulation in the neck that is different. Everything else is the same, except for you only get 2 repulsor blasts now instead of 4, simply because they replaced 2 repulsor blast effects with the forearm pieces. You still get the same amount of hands, and you also get the stand, but again, there's something a little bit different about this stand than the other 2 releases, the Mark II and the Mark III. It's got a spring mounted grip, which the other 2 didn't. They felt a little bit more cheap, and they had 2 little like prongs either side that can open up, but they could also pop off the top. Once you put him in the stand, you can see he can grip the waist pretty nicely. However, there is no crotch piece here to hold and balance this off a little better. And if you want to adjust the stand to be a waist grabber, all you need to do is push this piece all the way down to the bottom, then turn this one all the way up like that, and then you've got yourself a lovely little waist grabber. But there are pros and cons to both stands, so it's up to you really. At least you've got a choice of either now. Okay, just quickly, let's go through the articulation again. You can see that there is a lot less movement in the head simply because of that light up feature. The torso pops up and he bends forward and back quite a bit. However, there is no waist swivel there, so it is a little bit fixed. However, the shoulder joints do pop out, so you can actually get the arms all the way up and all the way round. You can then push them back in. There is bicep swivel. There is a double bend in the arms, so you can get more than 90 degrees. And there is a ball joint on the wrists, so you can get full swivel around. And also you can move them up and down just a little bit. The legs can drop down with the hips, bringing the legs out quite far, at least 90 degrees. There is a thigh swivel. There is double bend in the knees. There is some ankle pivot. The legs can go out to about there. However, there isn't much in the way of twisting articulation in the chest area. It is mostly left, right, forward and back. Can't really twist it that much. And the question I get asked more than anything else is, can he ground pound? And yes, he can. However, he can't look all the way up because there is a lack of articulation in the neck. But yeah, the ground pound is possible. And if people have asked, because I didn't review the Mark IV, can that ground pound? Yes. The Mark IV can ground pound pretty nicely as well. Okay, and as you can see, he's still got all the same sculpting all around the body that the original one had. Pretty much it's the exact same figure, except under the flap you have yourself a little port that's covered by this little plastic piece here that you can pop out. Then you've got the on-off button just underneath that you can press on and off to get the lighting on. However, I was concerned that when I turn the light on, that the light would bleed out of here all the way onto the chest and stuff. Okay, if you lift the neck up, you can see the light does shine down on the chest piece here, which is a little bit of a shame. I would have liked to stop that sort of light pollution happening. However, it is just a tiny little flaw with this. If you push the head down a little bit, it cuts out that light and it doesn't shine up. However, sometimes some people might like that little bit light up to make it look a little bit more like it's showing off some of that inside tech on the collarbone. If you do want to stop that light down, push the helmet down, and as you can see, standing up, fully lit up with a nice little pose with those arm rockets, he looks pretty cool. And I have to be honest, you do not see this level of paint job and light up feature in a sub £50 figure. I mean, the Figmas, the SH Figure Arts, none of those lit up, but this guy does, and he is like at least half the price, if not even cheaper than that. This guy set me back about £26–27 compared to this, which was about £20 to £22. Sometimes even on AliExpress I've seen them go for as low as £17 or £18, which is ridiculously cheap for the quality of figure that you get. Overall, I am very happy with the figure. It is a shame that the light up feature does bleed out of the helmet a little bit onto the chest if you're not careful, and also the fact that the articulation on the neck had to be sacrificed in order to get the light up feature in the eyes. But honestly, it's a small price to pay, because with him lit up like this, it looks brilliant, doesn't it? Look at the light shining off that armor with that lovely metallic new car paint job that they've given it. Couple that with the light up arc reactor and the eyes. This does add to the realism a little bit and it makes it look a little bit better. It's a shame it doesn't articulate as well as I think they could have made it articulate, but it's not the end of the world, because at the end of the day you get a superbly movie accurate figure in 1/10 scale with decent articulation and a paint job to die for. And the light up feature in this one just adds a little bit more realism that you would not expect something that this size to have. However, I will say, if you do have the original and you don't fancy spending out again for it, don't worry, you don't have to. This is still a great figure. But if you are willing to stump up a little bit more cash, you can get this guy with a light up feature for about $6, $7, $8 or £5 more than the original. Me personally, I think it's well worth the upgrade. Not only for the lights, but for also the extra rocket features you get with this guy. They did a really good job with this, as they have done with the other figures in the range. The only thing I will say is that the Mark IV, while beautifully sculpted and really well made, it's a little bit of the same old with him. The only difference being the design of the box is a little bit off, whereas the Mark III and the Mark II have a zoomed in picture of the face there, which works really nice with the enclosed tab piece. This one, it zooms out on the figure and keeps it all on one side of the flap with the logo on the other, and it doesn't work as well. It was obviously designed for this sort of style. However, trying to put this sort of artwork on it doesn't work as well. But other than that, it's sunrise, sunset with this guy, other than the new sculpted pieces to make him look like the Mark IV rather than the Mark III. Still a great figure. You can see him doing the ground pound pose because they are posable enough to do that. And I'm just hoping now for the Mark V to come out and really blow me away, because I am really looking forward to that one. It's one of my favorite suits and I can't wait to see what they do with it. Hopefully they make one with a light up feature as well, because now that I've seen them with the light up features, I'm a little bit spoilt and I want them all to have light up features. So we'll see if they put this version out in all of the other models that they're making. Me personally, I think the research and development was quite interesting for all this. I'm surprised they were able to get the LEDs fitted into this guy. So I don't see why we won't see a Mark IV with LEDs, a Mark V, etc. coming soon. God, I can't wait for the Mark I actually. That's going to look awesome. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. If you do me a favour now, if you can get the fuck out of my cave. I'm going to stick this guy back on charge because I can see the LEDs are starting to fade. So he's going to need a full proper charge before I'm comfortable putting him on the shelf. Bye bye.